So I've already started with the brows. Now I'm just taking some concealer and priming her eyelids. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Beautiful Bronze, I believe it's called. And I'm just blending that all into her eye, around her eye, and a little bit outward. I did do her brows already, and I didn't have to do much because her brows are so full, so I just kind of outlined them to give them a little more shape. So now we're moving on to eyeshadow, and the eyeshadow that I used today was the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and I only used 2 eyeshadow colors for this entire look. So I'm going in with a light purple as her transition color, and I'm putting it into the crease, and then I'm buffing it outward and blending it all the way up to her brow bone. I'm being careful though not to take it all the way up too high because I'm trying a new technique with my makeup, and I'm trying to make it a little more natural and wearable as opposed to everything looking like Instagram makeup all the time. So yeah, so we're just gonna see that I'm blending that in and building that color up as much as possible. But yeah, you guys, this look today is fairly simple. I'm really focusing on the skin. Right now, you're going to see me putting on the crease color, and this is just a deeper purple, and I'm going to go ahead and buff that out and blend that right into the crease. And I'm putting that right below that first shade we put on. That way you can still see the gradient effect. So the next step I always do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease, and I'm just using tapping motions with my concealer. The concealer that we're using today is the Makeup Revolution concealer in the color C12, and I'm just using tapping motions so that I can have more control on the brush, and I can make sure that I get of the each part of the crease nice and sharp. So I'm keeping the eyes pretty matte today, and I'm using that same purple color that we use as a transition shade on her eyelid. I wanted this look to be very seamless, and I didn't want to have to put too much work into the eyeshadow because when doing natural makeup, you never really have to put work into the eyeshadow. It's more so of the face and the skin prep. So we're just going to keep it very simple and very wearable. Moving on to the skin, I'm just prepping her under eye with some moisturizer, and this is my Genifique eye cream, and I just like to moisturize under the eye, that way the concealer can blend effortlessly and everything can look really smooth and flawless. You don't want to start out without some type of preparation for the skin because then your makeup will not look good. And I'm using a moisturizer to make sure that her entire face is completely hydrated before we apply the products on her skin. And I want her skin to be really glowy for this look, so I went ahead and mixed the Milani Prime Light and the NYX Born to Glow primer and just put it all over her skin. For the next step, after the skin has been prepped, I'm going to go ahead and take some foundation, and I'm taking a lighter foundation, and I'm using that to highlight the areas of her face that stand out the most. And I'm using the Juvia's Place foundation in the color Kampala, and this is going to be in place of concealer for now until we work the other areas of the face. And you'll see what I mean when I start doing the entire face. I just like to highlight with foundation now because it looks the most natural. So now what we're doing is we're taking the foundation that matches her actual skin tone, so it matches her neck and her chest, and we're going to go ahead and blend that all around her face, her cheeks, her forehead, chin, and a little bit under the eye. We're not going to do too much under the eye because we don't want the area to be cakey, but we're going to do enough just so that everything is blended and seamless. So as you can see, the highlighted parts of her face is still very prominent. So that was my goal. I just wanted to make sure everything was blended well, and she didn't need much coverage, which is why I didn't go ahead and use concealer first. So now I'm going to go ahead and use this CoverGirl Hydrating Concealer, and I chose a hydrating concealer today because I wanted this look to be glowy again. So a hydrating concealer would just look really well on top of all of those glowy products and primers that we used. I'm just using that to highlight and conceal under her eye. I'm going in with a little tiny bit, not even a lot, because again, she doesn't need much coverage. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and set under the eye, and I'm going to use the powder to also kind of give her face more of a shape. So I'm going to drag that powder right below where the eyeshadow stops, and this is just going to make her eyes and her face look really lifted, and her cheeks look really sculpted. So now I'm just going in with that same powder, and the powder that I'm using today is the Beauty Bakery flour powder, and I'm just using that to set the areas that I want the contour to be more defined. And I also put it on her nose, forehead, and right under that cheekbone line. To set the contour areas, I use the Makeup Revolution bronzing powder, which is nice and warm, and it's also kind of red, so it really gives the face a really nice sculpted look while also bronzing it all at the same time. And I use the color medium dark. It is very similar to her skin tone. I didn't want to go too harsh because again, I want this look to be very wearable, so the less work you have to do to get something to blend, the more wearable it will look. Taking some MAC powder in the color Deep Dark, and I'm going to go ahead and set her entire face, and this will just bring her skin into a nice blend, and everything will be seamless in one color. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some blush, and I'm adding the blush from my Juvia's Place Zulu palette. I can't remember which shade. I believe it's like one of the lighter shades, and it's from the yellow palette. Highlighter, I just took a lighter blush, which is in the same tone, and I just put it on her cheekbones, her cupid's bow, nose, and forehead. And you guys, I really wanted this look to pop, so I went ahead and put some pink shadow right in her inner tear ducts, which is very different from me. I'm normally putting some shimmery shadow, and I didn't record this part, but I went ahead and put some jewels on her eyes as well, and it just kind of gave her a nice grunge glam effect, which is perfect for her look, perfect for her hair. It just gave me life. So now I'm using my Night Moth liner, and I'm just lining her lips, and then I'm using the NYX London liquid lipstick, and I'm blending the two together, and you see how it just like goes really well with the eyes and her skin tone. Like when I tell you guys, this is so perfect. Like this look was just so perfect. Okay, and then that is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned some tips and tricks from my video. Make sure you go ahead and follow her page down below. I will leave her handles down below in the description box. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button so you can be part of the family and never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.